my mindset around fitness has really shifted from a direct driver of my aesthetics and my appearance. 12 weeks to prepare, like, I don't think that's enough. I did want to bring to the podcast the method I've developed. It's called the pylon method. Without that, I don't think I would have ever gone back into fitness. I'm going to go help this girl. And then that'll be my excuse as to why I'm in last. The tears flow of pure embarrassment. Like, it's not the pain. And I think that's where you start to fall in love with the actual aspects of fitness and you enjoy your workouts.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Always Active podcast. I'm your host, Katie, and today I'm interviewing my friend, Joya. Welcome to the podcast, Joya.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to make it onto the show.
I'm so excited to have you here. Joya and I have known each other since we were 10 years old. We met in elementary school, and our friendship has really revolved around fitness, a big part of it at least. And so I'm hoping that our conversation today, you'll kind of just feel like a fly on the wall. This is the type of conversation that we might have working out at the gym together while we're walking on the treadmill. And I'm really excited to hear all about your fitness journey. Without further ado, let's get psyched to move. So to kick things off, can you just introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about your fitness journey, kind of at a high level?
This is the most challenging question because I didn't really know how to describe it. I'll say don't put me in one fitness box because I will try anything. Like, I love to play sports, hockey. I came back to soccer as an adult, which I didn't play too much as a kid, which is really cool.
And you're crushing it with soccer.
Thank you so much. But even went back into play rec volleyball and all that kind of stuff. So it's I love sports. I love team sports especially, but always played at the recreational level, and it was never extremely competitive. But it's been really cool to keep that level of activity going on. And then I do a lot of weight training, so I'll dabble back and forth. Like, sometimes it's heavier lifts, sometimes I move into a little bit more of bodybuilding. It's never for physique goals, it's more just for what I'm having fun doing at the gym. So I switch back and forth between that. Yeah, I tried to take up running last summer when it came to HYROX, and I just learned that I'm not a good runner. But you can have fun when you're not good at something. So I think that's where I've kind of been this hybrid athlete approach, right? I try it all. I constantly change up the workout routine, but I like to have fun doing different things.
And I love that because I feel like our approaches to fitness are so similar in that way. Even though we have different goals and a different focus a lot of the time, I feel like both of us love that hybrid athlete kind of style of training. We got a little bit of everything going on.
For sure. And there's so many times that we'll show up to the gym and if one of us is on a strict plan for that week or something, then the other one's yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot. It's never a no right away unless it's I have an injury or I don't, or I'm resting something. But you've also exposed me to a lot of different styles of workouts that I would have never found on my own.
Yes, we've learned a lot from each other, I would say.
For sure.
And you guys specifically have taught me a lot about the big lifts and how to approach that.
Yeah, and I'll clarify the you guys here because I am the knockoff brand of Luca's personal training expertise. He's taught me it all. He spent so much time. I actually found videos the other day of me benching. I think it was 10s on the bar, and it was a big high five session after, and it was whoa, I did that. Shout out to him for all the time he invested in my smaller lifts so that we can actually do bigger things together now, and it's more fun. But I feel those training sessions I've brought on to a lot of you or our other friends, and we do those more formal activities now.
For sure. And just to clarify, Luca, we've actually talked about on the podcast before. I think when I was talking about my HYROX training.
Yeah.
So Luca is Joya's fiance. And how would you say that dating Luca has impacted your fitness journey?
Well, I always make the joke because when we first met, he was a personal trainer. So I was I was just using him for the free personal training, and then here we are. But not true. Not true at all. But yeah, we spend a lot of our free time working out together, and that's just become our common hobby. Even we'll play squash together on the weekends. It's kind of date night on Fridays. We'll go to the gym together, or if we have to work through something, we're we'll go to the gym and just hit the treadmill and talk through it as we're getting our fitness levels in. But I think that's helped us a lot in terms of just having a shared interest. Some days are different than others where he'll want a harder workout session than I do. And I think I've evolved to learn that, you know what, today's not the day, and I'll pull it back a little bit. But we work out together a lot. And even to if we go to the gym as a group, a lot of our HYROX training sessions were the four of us working through all the lifts together.
He was our trainer. He was setting up the equipment, telling us how to do the ski erg.
That was the best because we were hey, this is what we're going to do for our HYROX session. You happen to be at the gym. Can you just put all of this together. And he spent the next hour making our stations.
We would be running on the treadmill and he would be like setting up the sled push.
Yeah, so having a personal trainer, one attainable, is 10 out of 10. Highly would recommend. It is such a luxury.
So you said that you grew up as a recreational athlete, and that was sort of like a childhood thing. How did you go about transitioning from your childhood exercise experiences to your own fitness routine?
I think that's a really good question because there really is no transition. It's kind of
Hmm.
sad. Like you hit a certain age and you actually just age out of the programs that you're used to doing.
Hmm.
And at the same time, you're entering university, you're getting a part-time job, and all these other things are happening, and you just kind of like lose your sport. And you're like, oh man, like that was a huge part of my identity. Like I loved playing hockey. It was my favorite thing to do. And for 10 years, probably, it was my Sunday routine. And then it was just gone. Like I didn't look for a women's league. I also at that point felt a little bit too young to
Mm,
join. I was like 18. I'm a teenager. I'm not in a women's league.
right.
So it was like, oh, I don't want to do this yet. But I was really lucky. I worked a part-time job at like a sports summer camp. So I was always surrounded by people who were active and moving. And that's where I really learned that the community that you're part of is so important because if you missed your workout that day, you were surrounded by people that were like, hey, like, why are we not going to the gym right now? Like, it was in the same building as where we work. So we would just do the workout right after. So it became a bit of a social hangout too. And one of my coworkers, 10 out of 10 the best, like, she was the one who kind of brought me back into fitness without even noticing. Like, she turned it into the social habit of like, hey, we're going to go hit the workout. Or our big ones, we go for runs on our lunch break. And I didn't really realize it at the time, but looking back, like, without that, I don't think I would have ever gone back into fitness in the same way. Like she
Mm,
was casually coaching me and she almost framed it as like, hey, can you help me and keep me company? Because that's what she had wanted was someone to join her on her runs. So it was perfect. And like we've kept connected through like that type of activity and me starting running at that point really helped. That was a big difference too, because you stop your rec sport, you stop your regular fitness routine. And like, I don't know if it was just me, but that freshman 15 was a bit higher than 15 and going back into it again, like with physical activity in that sense, it was good. It was good to get back into running and back into fitness. And that was really where I kind of got the strength and abilities to get back into adult sports. Because there is a fear factor, right?
hmm.
Like you leave your sport, you train for so long, you take a break and you're like, I don't know if I can do this again.
Yeah, that is so true. I feel like so many kids grow up playing sports and then you turn 18 and it's like, okay, you're on your own now. You have to figure it out. So I'm really glad that that friend motivated you and kind of tricked you into starting your independent fitness journey. And I feel like that's something you do to this day is just keeping fitness as a social thing. That's something that has kept us connected for all these years is seeing each other at the gym every week. So I think that's a great way to stay motivated and accountable.
Yeah, I think there's a point where you and I had kind of like not seen each other as much as we were used to.
Hmm.
And then we're like, well, I don't want to keep going out for dinners. And it was like, I'm missing my workout. And I was like, wait a sec, we don't need to miss our workout. Like, let's just go to the gym together. And like,
Yeah.
we don't catch up in the same way. Like, we're focusing on the workout and we're talking about the workout, but the quality time's there, which is really cool.
And we have such great conversations at the gym. I feel like that's where we do our weekly catch up
It's
and
true.
fill each other in on what's going on. So
Yeah, working out in a social setting is the best. I did want to bring to the podcast the method I've developed. I
I'd
call
love to
it the
hear about it.
okay, great. It's called the pylon method. This was discovered by accident, and I think it's just super important. So I am a superset fanatic. I do everything in my life multitasked, which is not the right way of living, but it happens. So I hate waiting on my one station at the gym and taking a long rest. And there's nothing worse than you know what machine you want to use next, and the moments before you get there, somebody else takes it. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, now I'm waiting for all of their sets. Like this is the worst. The pylon method comes to play. When you work out with your workout buddy or friend or pylon, if you will, you are reserving the next station in your workout. You never wait again.
Yeah.
It's the most efficient workout ever. You're on your lat pull down, and all of a sudden, you know you're going to move to the row. Workout partner A has finished. Workout partner B is heading to the row. And you're never skipping a beat.
It's so efficient.
It's so efficient. I don't know if you've ever noticed that you're the
I'm a
pylon.
pylon. It all makes sense now. All these years I've just been a pylon.
No, 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 please. There's more than that. I
Okay.
also do the pylon sometimes too.
I do feel like I've been a bad pylon at times because we're not using a piece of equipment and someone will come by and they'll be like, "Hey, you guys using this?" I'm like, "Oh no, you can have it." And Joya's like, "What? You were supposed to reserve that for us."
There was a bench at one point. We were in the middle of the set, and you're like, "Yeah, take it." I was like, "What are you talking about?" But
I had
yeah.
to learn to be a good pylon.
But do you enjoy the pylon
I
method?
do, I do. I feel like it's very efficient, especially when you're working out with a buddy. I feel like it can be inefficient because you're like chatting and like
Yeah,
it's not like you're making the most of the time in that way. So I feel
true.
like you're making up for it by using the pylon method.
Yes, you're
And
having
then,
that and you're not reserving with a water bottle
right,
because we
because
don't
that's
want to.
just rude.
So
That's not
rude.
proper gym etiquette.
Big red flag on the gym etiquette.
Yeah,
We're doing it with a person.
that's different. I think you should trademark it because,
I think it's important. And it comes with the caveat too, because you're right. When you work out socially, you can easily get distracted.
mhm.
I
And
have,
we do.
we do, as long as both partners are on board. And you gotta like a superset.
Yeah. Well, and I think we do some good supersets.
I think
They're
so.
not inefficient, just like placeholder supersets. We're actually getting something accomplished.
Yeah, we're not like over gassing out any muscle
Hmm.
group at the same time. They're well thought out.
Yes.
I realized the other day I went to the gym by myself and I was like, I don't work out alone ever.
Oh,
Like,
really?
what do you do? Where do you look?
I
On your
usually just
rests.
stare into the space.
Yeah.
I don't look at other people, but I'll just like stare. Sometimes I look at my phone, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I've been waiting here for a long time. Like I want the full rest period. If it's a long rest period, it's just me and my thoughts. It's kind
Good.
of
Oh, your music is
meditative.
in.
Yeah.
I don't like my thoughts. Like, no.
Like, I'd rather not.
I need to be stimulated or
Yeah.
distracted. And then sometimes when you're solo, people will show up and then think if you want to socialize,
Mm.
but you can get pulled into conversations.
See, I don't have that problem. I feel like we established the same thing when I interviewed John. John always gets like distracted when other people come around
Yeah.
because he's likes being social. I'm like, I don't talk to people at my gym, so
I'm a big fan of the smile, nod, and like have a good one.
yeah.
All right, what are you hitting today? I'll let you get back to it. And
Yeah.
you just run
That's
away.
good. Just keep it brief.
Yeah.
So through working out with Luca, you were introduced to the world of powerlifting. I'd love to hear about your experience with powerlifting and any tips you have for beginners.
Yeah, for sure. I think the selling point here of powerlifting is you're doing 1, 3, or 5 reps max. So anybody who doesn't like that long burning 8, 10, or 12 reps, powerlifting might be the one for you. But the focus with powerlifting is you're going more for strength as opposed to endurance.
Mm.
So again, you may be going 5 reps is a lot of reps for powerlifting, where you're trying to target what your 1 rep max would be. You're a little bit more thoughtful with your weight settings because you're really trying to hit certain targets. What I used was really helpful was a formal powerlifting workbook. You were plugging in your numbers into an Excel workbook,
Mm.
and it would exactly spit out what I needed to be doing, whatever their formulas or ratios would be. And I had to be really thoughtful in terms of what I was putting on the bar. And it was supposed to be sort of that progressive overload of the main lifts. And then you also do a lot of accessory work to support in the main lifts as well.
And what would those main lifts be for anyone who's unfamiliar with powerlifting?
So your bench press, you've got your deadlift and your squat. Those are the top 3 main lifts. Those are the ones you'll be doing in competitions as well. I've never competed in powerlifting. Always wanted to do it, but something on the future bucket list for sure. They actually
Hmm.
sign you up by weight class. So similar to like a bodybuilding comp, you would also have to be mindful of potentially doing a cut to sort of compete with those, because typically the heavier your body weight, the easier it is to lift weights, right?
Right.
So you're kind of cutting and building strength at the same time. So there's a lot of strategy that goes into this stuff.
I feel like boxing is similar in that way. Everyone kind of knows that example of the boxer who will do a massive cut before so they can be in the lower weight
Yes.
division.
Yes, exactly. So typically if you're competing against people who are just smaller, your heavier lifts will be more impressive.
You'll be more competitive.
You'll definitely be more competitive. I think that's a better way to put it. So yeah, a lot of gameplay and strategy that goes into it. People get coaches because you have to do like all the prep work to get into it. So yeah, something I'd be interested in competing in would be the powerlifting competitions for sure. For me, when it comes to strength, is I think longevity, and I
Hmm.
want to be able to, like, a deadlift is a hinging motion, right? Like you want to have strength in your back, strength in your glutes. Like when you're older, you want to be able to pick up your groceries. Like that's a deadlift.
Yes.
So those key strength movements are the ones that you're going to carry throughout your life. And a squat too, like it's a quad movement, but it really is a full body strength builder.
Mm-hmm.
So those are a lot of fun, but they're also really important for your overall health.
It's very functional. It will actually transfer into your real life.
Yes, and once you build those key lifts, you'll sort of see the power shifting throughout in that sense. But the accessory work is important too. Like to improve your bench press, you're not going to only just keep benching a barbell. You'll want to do like an incline bench. You want to move to dumbbells sometimes. You're going to work on your shoulders, your triceps. Like all those pieces are involved in the lift. So there's a lot of thought that goes into it. But I also think it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you like it, 'cause sometimes we go for benching days and I'm like, more on the bar. And you're like, that is enough.
I think I go through phases with it. I like low rep training for a certain period of time,
Yeah.
but I feel like I need to cycle through it. Like it's not something that I want to do year round.
I get what you're saying too. Because it's like, even when you're looking at like, if you're planning it for the week or something, it can take a long time to do a strength workout.
Yeah.
If you're reloading the bar, you're taking your proper rest. Like it's actually, you think you're doing low reps, you'll be in and out much faster. It's a really long workout.
Yes. And I will say actually that the program that I'm following right now, we are in, I guess, more of a powerlifting phase.
Yeah.
Not formally, but we're going for lower reps for each of the big lifts. And I'm seeing such massive strength gains. And it's like, okay, this is motivating. This is keeping me going because I can see the number increasing.
It's so fun. And you know what? It's so humbling too when you deviate from the plans and you go back to it. You're like, what do you mean? I
Mm-hmm.
used to have that number, no problem. Like, where did it go? So, like, if you got, it's just a reminder, like, you got to keep working at it. It's not like riding a bike where you hit it and you just keep it. I've heard a quote recently. It's like it's rented, not owned. Like you're constantly paying your dues in that sense. That you don't own it. You have to keep working towards it.
You need to be consistent.
Yes.
It's kind of like how I used to be able to do several pull-ups and now I can only do maybe one or two just because I haven't practiced it. So if you
Yeah.
don't practice it, what is it? Use it or lose it kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, you know what? You don't have time to do pull-ups all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That was your challenge at that point in time and you hit
Yeah.
it and like great job, but I'm sure you shifted that for a different goal.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, okay, on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So powerlifting is something that you still incorporate in your routine. What are your current goals for powerlifting?
This is a good question because I rethink about it all the time. And I think one thing I need to work on too is like, for example, my bench press is a stronger lift than my squat, which is like, think about the size of your chest muscles and the size of your quads.
That's not typical.
No.
Especially for women.
No. So that's one thing I want to do is focus on the squat and the deadlift to bring those up to par. I used to do 225 for my deadlift. That was like over a year ago now. So I'd have to definitely train to get back into it. I tried last week and it was humbling. I just kind of just felt like a cement wall. What moves?
But you used to be able to move it.
Back in the day.
Yeah. And what's your current bench press goal?
So as of right now, my one rep max is 155 pounds on the bench press.
Which is so impressive.
I'm glad you think so.
You
are
are so strong in my eyes.
And that's it. If I have one fan, that's all I need. No, I worked really hard to get to one plate, which is 135 pounds. Like, there's a huge fear factor when you start benching because you're like, this is going to crush me. And then you fail a few times and you're like, actually really enjoy the feeling of the burnout, which is cool. So that was a big plateau. 155 seems to be a big plateau. My ideal world, I'd hope one day to hit 200 pounds on a bench press. I mean, I've seen women go 225 before, like it's not impossible. So maybe if I really focused more time and effort to it, but for like a more nearsighted goal, like I'd love to see 170 so I can beat a friend of mine who's at 165 right now. It's a healthy competition.
You're close. You're almost there.
Yeah, you always want to have those benchmarks sort of with your friends, I'd say.
And then you'll be ready to sign up for your first powerlifting meet.
You know what? Maybe 2026. This year got busy, but I think next year could be the one.
Last year was HYROX, next year powerlifting. I see it.
Spread.
Yeah. It's a hybrid athlete.
Would you do it with me?
No. But I'll come watch you.
Hard stop, not even
I'll cheer you on.
Powerlifting's intense. Like
it is.
Women who deadlift big lifts, like they pee while they deadlift.
No, I didn't know
It's
that.
a thing. Like if you look at videos, they're using so much force and effort, they actually will pee on the platform. It's like no one bats an eye. It's common.
Common.
I don't think I could get to that level.
I think you just discouraged me from trying it even more. So, I have talked about this countless times on the podcast, and I feel like everyone's tired of hearing me talk about it. But we competed in HYROX last year, which was a really big accomplishment.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear in your eyes what that experience was like.
Yeah, this is it. This is the face behind Katie's HYROX partner. It was a crazy challenge I would have never done if you didn't. Actually, I was on a jog, a very slow-paced jog, and you called me and I answered it on my earbuds. And it was Canada Day because you were like, "Hey, do you want to do this challenge with me in
Oh,
October?"
yeah.
And I was like counting down the weeks, and I was like, I don't know, like 12 weeks to prepare. Like, I don't think that's enough. I'm so far from out of shape. So I went home, did a lot of research, wrote up the notes, and I was like, okay, I think we can do this. And I think my whole thing was if you have the patience and time to deal with me, because I'm most definitely not a runner, and we can set certain goals and train for this together, then like if you're willing, then I'm ready to try it. So that's exactly what we did. Like our monthly check-ins were super cool.
Hmm.
That was really helpful.
And that was all your idea, doing the monthly trials of HYROX?
I think I was more scared than you were for HYROX. You were pretty confident.
Yeah, I was like, honestly, I see all these other people doing it. We could do it no problem. But you were, I guess, hesitant at first, but we
Well,
pushed each other. And then as soon as we did the first trial and realized that we could complete it in 2.5 hours, we're like,
yeah.
oh, well, we got 12 weeks to figure this out. We'll be fine.
That was a huge relief. That day was hard.
Hmm.
We were like looking at the clock. We're like, it's almost been 3 hours in this gym. What
Yeah.
are we doing?
But it was a big confidence booster because we're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, like this is hard, but it's doable.
You sold me on the it's only 1 kilometer 8 times.
Hmm.
I'm not a long distance runner. I'm not a short distance runner. Last summer, I knew I wanted to build it into my goals because, like, playing soccer together, I
Hmm.
was like, cardio is really great and I feel good afterwards, but I want to be better. So having this as like a firm, hard deadline was really important. But what I learned as part of it too is I'm not a good runner.
Which is fine. At least you did it and you can enjoy something even if you're not the best at it.
Yeah, like we were racing. HYROX is a race. So I was like, we have to get to under 6 minutes per kilometer. Like that's how we're gonna get a competitive race time.
Hmm.
And I would try to train for it, and I was like, I was dying on these runs and I couldn't do it. And then I went on a trip to Chicago. I was training in the city, so it was a bit more of a leisure run. Like we were trying to get a certain distance. I think it was an over 7 minute run. And I was like, this was such a great feeling.
Mm.
I was like, maybe it's not racing. In this case, HYROX was racing, but maybe running for speed wasn't something that I would enjoy, and I'm not good at it. But just because you're not great at it doesn't mean you can't keep trying it.
I completely agree. I think that's such an important mindset to have with so many things. Like, why would you not even try just because you think you won't be good at it? Or why would you not even continue something even if you realize that you're not the best? Like, we're not these high level athletes. We're just recreational fitness enthusiasts who
Like,
wanted to compete. And we didn't have to beat anyone else. We just wanted to complete it.
yeah,
And
sure.
if we ever do it again, we can beat our own time. Like, it's always a competition with yourself.
100%. And if you remember, like when we were kids, I used to tease you about running. You did, what was it, cross country for fun, like outside
Yeah,
of
I
school.
loved it.
Yeah, and I was like,
Like, what a
ew. I was
concept.
like, ew, who likes running? And then as we're in our 20s, and I'm like, oh man, if I had run as a kid, this would be a lot easier now.
So that's a great transition. Can you please tell everyone about our grade 6 cross country experience?
Okay, so I think this is the moment that I impressed Katie and I helped her understand who she'd choose as her HYROX partner.
It was.
So
It's when you sold me when we were 12 years old.
yeah, and you were like thinking about if there's ever an opportunity. So I absolutely was terrified of running. Again, I used to tease her about it. And Katie's like, let's just do cross country. It'll be so fun to hang out. And like the training was miserable. Katie was the best runner in our elementary school. Like I'm saying, like faster than I would even say 99% of the guys
I guess so, yeah.
were up there. And there was like days where you would beat them in races. Anyways, even the kids who were older, like you were a very impressive runner.
Thank you. It was all the soccer.
That makes sense.
I'm not at that level anymore, just to clarify. I peaked in elementary school.
What a title.
Even in high school, I wasn't competitive.
Really?
Yeah, like I wasn't doing anything super impressive.
Impressed me.
But I think I realized at that point that I didn't need to be the best. But in elementary school, I needed to be the best.
And you were. So we did cross country together. I was not the best. I was not even close to the best. But the day of the race came and We start the race. Obviously, we had no plans to do it together because Katie was well beyond me. I'm pretty sure you medaled
I think so.
and went to
Well, we got ribbons.
provincials.
It wasn't that serious.
Well, whatever it was, your name was ranked up there. And the race happens. We're halfway through it, and someone from our school gets injured. And I see my easy out. I'm like, perfect. I'm gonna go help this girl. And then that'll be my excuse as to why I'm in last, not because I actually would have ended in last anyway. So the race finishes. There's three of us at the very end. It started to rain. The whole finish line's muddy. People are standing, they're cheering. It was like, I have to sprint the end of this race. Everybody's there to watch me, and I'm
Final
not going to
push.
finish in last.
Oh
So
no.
grade six Joya runs it in, absolutely wipes out on the mud, starts crying in front of everybody. Katie's mom comes to take care of me to get the absolute dead last place.
But you finished the race.
Thank you so much. I finished the race.
And that's when I knew she was the one for me.
So Katie's been resting for an hour and a half already. And I'm there crying at the finish line, trying to finish the race. And then it took me, I guess, 15 years to run again.
But you got back to it.
Yeah, and that's what matters. So
I don't know if I told you actually in grade 4, so this was before we were going to the same school, but same situation. I feel like in the fall, like end of fall, it's always raining, like the ground is slippery. And I was in the final stretch right before the finish line and I sprinted and I fell. And then I ended up losing like 3 places. Like I would have been higher up in the ranking if I didn't fall right before the finish line. So
oh, that's awful.
yeah, so we both had that experience.
I just got up and you're so close to the top.
It's a shared
It's a humbling
experience.
experience.
Yeah.
The tears flow of pure embarrassment. Like it's not the pain. It's so embarrassing.
But like no one actually cares. That's the
No.
thing. But when you're a kid, like everything's the end of the world. Like it's such a big deal.
Oh, I milked it the rest of the day. Like I had to make people feel bad instead of laughing at me for it.
Well, I'm glad you recovered emotionally and we were able to run together. And hopefully we'll run together again at another HYROX.
I think so. We have to figure out which country we're going to. That's the
Yeah.
key.
That'll be good. So speaking of big fitness accomplishments like grade 6 cross country and completing HYROX, something that you did a couple years back or last year was hike to Machu Picchu. So can you share what that was like? I'm so interested to hear all about it.
Yeah, for sure. It was a 5-day 75-kilometer hike. Peru is in the Andes mountain region, which means the altitude is really high, or 11,000 feet. And so essentially the oxygen levels are really low. So we did the trek in May. So we had the Canadian winter in sort of springtime to prepare for it. So starting in February, we were going through like trails here, and I was like, yeah, like our longest day on the hike was scheduled to be 25 kilometers. And I was like, we did that here, like no problem, it should be fine. The altitude was no joke. Also doing it 5 days in a row was really intense. I remember the first night of the trip looking at Luca and I was like, if I ever suggest something like this to you again, this is an awful feeling. Like you were from the altitude with the lack of oxygen, you feel physically exhausted. So you actually just want to nap. Your eyes get heavy. Like you'll start to want to fall asleep.
Wow.
Your appetite's gone, so you're not really fueling in the same way. And then we're still doing the hike, which was something like much bigger than the training that we had done to get into it. So it was really cool. Actually, unfortunately, the first day of our trek, another couple was so sick they got sent home off the tour.
So it's really intense and physically demanding.
They were vomiting all night from the altitude sickness.
So altitude sickness it's not a myth. It happens.
It happened. It was so real. And it was like something I learned on the trek too is there's oxygen in water. And I don't know how true this is, but drinking water really helped us to like keep moving every step as we went through it, like to catch your breath. It was really cool.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah.
How did you transport your water? Like, were there water stations along the way?
It was the most expensive water of my life. Yeah, the tour was basically all inclusive. Like we had chefs, we had donkeys that transported our main bags, but water was something we had to pay for throughout. And we had these like water bladders on our back, and you'd be shocked the extra 5 to 10 pounds of water, how intense that was.
It would
like,
weigh you down.
I started leaving mine half empty so that I would have less of a backpack to carry. First day we had like sunscreen, bug spray, extra change of this, like 4 protein bars. By day 2, I was like half a water bag.
That's all you need.
And Luca had to hold all my stuff. Yeah, it was hard.
That sounds so challenging and so impressive that you did that. And would you say that it was worth it? Like as challenging as it was, the views and the experience you would do. I don't know if you would do it again, but was it worth it?
It was so cool. And I think a few times on the trip, just like trying to take in the surroundings and the experience and like understanding we had to drive 5 hours up a windy road to get here and like walk 3 days to the specific spot I was in. And I was like, I will physically never be here again.
Yeah.
Like I have so many blisters on my feet. My knees were hurting from a whole day of a decline walk. If you're ever going to do this track, definitely practice your decline walk. Like you're definitely sore. The altitude sickness is real. You're tired. You're sleeping in like camping situations, so it's not the best night's sleep. But in that very moment, is like take in this beautiful scenery, look around you, like how lucky and fortunate you are to be here.
Yep.
You will never be back here again.
And just from the photos, like it looked breathtaking. So I can only imagine what it was like in real life.
It was incredible. Like the terrain changed too. Like day one was mountains, so
Hmm.
like it was actually like snow capped mountains, and then we went on the same day. We kept walking, and like we went from a puffer jacket to like a tank top and shorts. Like
In one day.
yeah, like we went into the jungle all of a sudden. It was humid and super sunny, and like yeah, it was super weird, super cool. I would recommend it to anybody who's ready to do it.
I think that's something I didn't realize too, that you would see so many things along the way. I thought it was just like, oh, you're doing the trek so you can see Machu Picchu at the end, but not all of the scenery that you would encounter on your way to get there.
Yeah, they definitely made it pretty engaging and the route was cool. And there was like some ledges that were maybe 2 feet wide and it was a genuine draw. Some people said there's like 5 deaths that occur on this trek every year.
So not only physically demanding, but also dangerous to do this trek.
Yeah, there was a few like jumps over rivers or bridges we had to take that was like, what? Like, why are we trusting this?
Hmm.
The Peruvian mentality was pretty cool. Like they were constantly just like, yeah, don't worry about it. And we're like, no, like the thing says to meet up at 8 o'clock and you're telling me 10 o'clock. Like, am I gonna miss my bus? Don't worry about it. At every city in every area we went. So when we were on like these shaky bridges, we were like, you just don't worry about it.
And it just happened to work out.
Fortunately.
You live to tell the tale.
Yeah, but it was really cool. Honestly, I think I lost like over 5 pounds in those 5 days alone. Like I didn't check at the start and end of the trek, but when I got home, so after a few days of refueling and everything,
Hmm.
but you can even see in the photos, like my face got a little bit leaner and it was just a really quick turnaround. But the amount of walking was so crazy compared to the sedentary lifestyles that we have here.
So different.
It was so different. That was the one thing that I've definitely like taken away and incorporated into my routine. Like it doesn't need to be a high intensity jog or a run. Like steps is so important.
Absolutely. And something else I wanted to say is that this trek that you did, it was not a mandatory trek that you needed to do in order to see the end point. Like you could have taken a train to get there if you wanted to, right?
Yeah, we took the train to get back.
Okay.
Let me start with that. We did not walk back. We followed the historic trail, the Inca people that they would use. Once a year, they would do this sort of trek and passage. There's some cultural significance to it as well. So this was a genuine trail that they used to follow.
Mm,
So there were some actual monuments along the way where it would like kind of point your eyes to where Machu Picchu was in the distance
cool.
because they really were going through like there was no maps, there was no formal tour guide. Like it was the actual nature that they were following.
Hmm.
But yeah, you could have taken the tour, you could have taken the bus. I think the real excitement of this journey though was to do the trek to get there.
Hmm.
And I just think that's by virtue of like our age and our abilities right now. Let's push yourselves to do those cool travels. And especially when it comes to a natural wonder of the world, like there's no guarantee that they're going to be open. One
Hmm.
of like the rumors of Machu Picchu is that they're going to be closing it soon because the amount of foot traffic is sinking it
Oh,
and causing too much wear and tear on the monument.
wow.
So yeah, nothing's guaranteed. Like if you have the chance to book the flight or you've got the ability to do the trek, like do it now. Like you'll never feel perfectly right for training for it.
Hmm.
And we even went to an altitude gym to try to simulate the experience and like a small glimpse of what it felt like. It kind of helped, but I don't think any amount of training would have really acclimatized us as opposed to what
Hmm.
we really went through.
You could have never been fully prepared for it.
No, and I don't think you really need to be because like we're never gonna do it again.
Hmm.
So if you just push through it and you know the feeling of like digging deep and getting through those moments, actually a few times along the way, you have the opportunity to take buses. We took a horse one day.
Okay.
Right after our friends had gotten sent home, there was an option to do the foot hike or to take it on a horse. And Luca was very against taking the horse. He's like, if we do this, we didn't complete the trek. And I was like, no, like this is just part of
It's
the
part of the
experience.
trek.
Yeah.
It's part of the journey.
He was so happy after. Like the horses were the best part. Like it was just also a cool experience to ride a
Yeah.
horse. In hindsight, no helmets. I don't know if it's the right way to say it, but the horses only spoke Spanish. So we couldn't like navigate the horses.
Yeah.
And like no instructions. I think the girl behind me was on a donkey. Like the horses were more dangerous than walking.
Yeah, but I mean it got you to where you needed to be, so I guess it worked.
Exactly.
So the next question I have for you is actually one of the questions that someone from the audience asked, and that's what's Joya's training schedule while being a corporate girly?
Ooh. I think the key to the schedule is it's actually constantly changing.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a method with one of my good friends is that we send each other stars every time we complete a workout.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and it's like I set my goal at the start of the week. Like I look ahead to see what's in my schedule, like what's going to be doable. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, this week I can hit 6 workouts. Next week maybe it's 5. And we do it to each other. So like every time I hit the workout, I send over one of my check marks and it's like, okay, cool. And I've had days where it's like, oh, I don't really want to go today, but I'm like, oh, if I look at the week, I'm not going to make my target. So that's
Mm,
been like, it's kind of like a silly, goofy way of using emojis, but it's a really good accountability tool because like we don't
yeah.
live close enough to work out together,
Emojis make everything more fun.
right? Yeah, we can set one up too if you want.
I think we should. So now you have the pylon method, you have the emoji method.
I don't do anything at random. Like it's all pre-planned and
Yeah. You
logical.
don't just accidentally show up at the gym.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Actually, one thing I've started to realize too is like I don't have a set routine in my workouts, but I really do.
Yes.
That's why I like to work out with you because you'll introduce new things into my routine.
And same with you. You'll teach me new things that I had never even considered doing.
Yeah. And I think it's always like a good refresher to be like, oh, like I've done this so many times. Like I should try something new.
Hmm.
But your question was my schedule. My one thing is like I've learned for myself, I cannot go home. If I come from work to my house and try to get changed there, I'll like find a snack or I'll find something else to do. And then I'm like, oh, it's too late. I don't want to go.
Hmm.
Every night before, I pack my gym clothes, put in my car. In the winter, they get super cold and I heat them up in the sauna, but it's a different method.
So many methods.
So many methods. And yeah, like I go straight to the gym and then that's kind of like the perfect time for me to like get in and get out. And then I have my target. I want to get home and eat dinner. Great motivator. And I'll feel good. Like I'll get my workout in and then I go home and I relax for the night. And that sort of helps me save time and go through it. I've actually started working out early in the morning before I get to the train too. And the only thing to that though is while I'm at the office, I'll feel sore. I
Oh,
will
it
pick up
hits
a
you in the middle
pen
of the
and I'll be
day.
like, wow, like yeah, it's differently.
It's not like the next day soreness. It's like, oh no, the DOMS is already setting in or something.
Yes, it's really different, but I like to shake up both of them. The real secret sauce to it though is like Sunday night, look at the whole week and like
Hmm.
set your goals, set your plan, set your schedule. Because for me, that's my treat. I don't go to the gym as a chore. And if I'm having a bad week where I have like a lot of other things going on, I won't go. Like I'll skip the workout. I'd rather go when it's my reward or my happy place.
Hmm.
And especially when it comes to like really busy seasons at work, I don't like to work through it and then do my workout. I prioritize my fun time, my personal time, and then I'll go back home and finish working if I need to do it.
Hmm.
But for me, switching it from a chore to my treat has really helped the mentality of like fitting it into the schedule.
Yeah, it's something that you get to do, something that you look forward to. And it's also
Yeah,
your social time.
for sure. Like there'd be so many times I wouldn't see people if it wasn't for us working out together.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like even with us, like we're seeing each other pretty much every week at the
Yeah.
gym. This week we didn't hit our workout
I miss
together,
girly
but
girl days.
well, speaking of girly girl days, that's both of us have our Sunday routine. On a Sunday, we both have different routines, but on a
Yeah.
Sunday, I like to plan out my whole week and then it's like, okay, where are my workouts fitting in? It's different every single week.
You prompt me to start mine sometimes because you start
Yeah.
earlier.
And we'll send a message in the group chat because we have a chat with two of our other friends who have the same gym membership as us. And we'll kind of try to coordinate a day that works best for everyone. But it's different every single week. Like
Yeah.
we're so inconsistent in the sense that we don't have like a set day. But I think that's a prime example of planning your workouts around your life rather than planning your life around your workouts because I don't think that's realistic.
For sure. And there's 4 of us. Like we always go through different like flows and processes. But yeah, planning around our social time too, because like that would suck if we only saw each other on the weekends. for like outings, whereas like we can do those pit stops along the way.
Yeah, of course. It's not like every time we see each other, it's a workout,
Yeah.
but a lot of the times that we see each other, there's some sort of workout involved.
Yeah, but even if we had a good period too, we were trying out different studios, remember?
Yes, that was fun.
Every time I see a free trial, you're my first message.
I love free trials. It's the
You have
best.
to deal with the sales pitch kind of.
Yeah, but I think we're used to it now.
Yeah, we're like, thanks so much. We can't afford this.
We don't give in to the sales tactics.
No,
I
yeah.
would have back in the day because I have in the past, but no, I learned my lesson.
Yeah, but it makes it more fun, like changing it up. And that's one thing that like listening to your podcast has really helped me like appreciate that we are able to just jump into any workout class without thinking.
Hmm.
Like that is so crazy that we have like the basic strength and the foundation to just not even double check the intensity level. I went to a yoga class once, and basically the way the room was set up, I was like, oh, this might be an advanced yoga class. And like I dabble in yoga. I wouldn't say I'm advanced. And then by the end of it, I was like, wow, I'm glad I did that. Like if I read the description, I would have not
Hmm.
probably signed up. But I think we're at the level where we just like trust we're gonna be able to do it.
Yeah, you're capable of more than you think. And it's good that, yeah, you have the confidence level to just jump into anything. Once you have that foundation, it does set you up to be able to do a variety of different activities. So you kind of briefly touched upon this earlier, but I wanted to take a deeper dive. I'm wondering what your biggest tips are for improving your mindset around fitness based on some of the experiences that you've had on your fitness journey.
I think it's a really important question because I, for some reason, always had fitness to be synonymous with weight loss. Like that was a constant thing. I was a very chubby child. I can show you the cutest photos if you're interested. But I was always chasing, like, I need to lose more weight. The only way to do that would be to continue to work out. Like, I think my mindset around fitness has really shifted from like a direct driver of my aesthetics and my appearance to this is my fun hobby and I love to do it.
Yeah.
And I have shifted more into like, what are my strength goals? What are my mobility goals? Like, what are my, a big one for me right now is longevity and health. Like, I'm really focused on what can I be doing today to make sure that 20 years from now, I'm still active and still able and like comfortable doing all these things. Because a
Hmm.
lot of times, like, injuries are the worst. How many times you hear athletes say, like, I was going to make it except for, and it's like, well, yes, there's freak accidents, but what were you missing in your preventative training to allow you to continue to do the thing that you love?
Absolutely. I think that's such an important shift. And I think, yeah, a lot of what we're sold and told about fitness is that it is for aesthetics, that it's for weight loss. And I think that that's fine if that's what initially gets you into it. But
Yes.
then you end up just enjoying the process of it so much that those goals sort of gradually fade away with time, I would say.
Yeah, you end up having more fun with it. And like shifting your goals is what makes you have more fun with it. Like when we were doing HYROX, I was focusing on always doing heavy leg days after soccer
Yeah.
because I wanted that burnout feeling to prepare for HYROX.
Hmm.
For a long term, like I don't love that style of training, so I've changed it. But as you're shifting through your goals, like, yeah, you're going to shift your workouts, but it should be your fun hobby.
Hmm.
It should be that you have targets on your power lifts or you want to do the pull-ups that you were doing. Like,
Yeah.
who are you doing pull-ups for?
Literally yourself, just to prove that you can do it.
Yeah, like you're not, I mean, hopefully you have a chance at a party one day to show off your
I've
pull-ups.
done it a couple times.
I've seen it. But like really, like it's such an impractical movement, right?
Yeah.
Like but it's fun and you set those targets and you set those
Hmm.
goals. So like keeping away from the fitness for weight loss narrative, like it's over, it's done.
We're canceling her.
We're so canceling her.
I think she's been canceled, but
I
we've
hope
heard it here.
so.
Yeah.
Because like as much as it helps if you're like kicking off a weight loss journey, but like building it in for like your mobility or your strength or your bone density or cardiovascular health, like there are so many other good benefits.
It's so much more important and meaningful to your life.
Yes.
That's what people should actually focus on. And the appearance piece of it, yeah, it's important to feel confident, but I don't think that's the be all and end all of living a happy, healthy life.
And how many times have you heard girls say like, "Oh, I can't work out my arms because they're gonna get bulky."
Oh, I hate that.
Oh.
That's a rough one.
And it's like I've worked out all these years and I still have not gotten bulky arms. Like it's not gonna work that fast.
Yeah, you need to be intentionally working toward that
Yeah.
if you want to achieve that kind of physique.
Right? And it's not a bad thing because it's like, yeah, you're right. Like the aesthetics and the strength building are two separate conversations because
Yeah.
how can I tell you I want to lose weight and I want a 200-pound bench? Like, am I going to stop working my triceps because they're too bulky
Yeah.
and just hope my bench goes up?
Well, you have to pick what's more important to you, right?
Yeah, and it changes all the time.
Hmm.
But it's a very mixed message if you're super focused on your aesthetics through your fitness journey.
And it can be taken to an extreme.
Yes,
And it can affect a lot of other areas of your life. So I think having a more balanced approach really is the most sustainable, the healthiest, and it's what's going to serve you the best in the long run.
for sure. And I think that's where you start to fall in love with the actual aspects of fitness and you enjoy your workouts. You're working out for the purpose of the strength and growth that you're doing in that moment, as opposed to an external goal, which is related, but you're not going to have a direct sense of feeling. And like, you're not like, you do a heavy lift or you do a nice strong workout and you're going to feel good in that moment. The
Hmm.
endorphins are going to flow from the workout. You're not going to look in the mirror and see fat fall off.
Exactly. Especially because those kinds of results take a very long time. It can be demotivating if that's the only thing that's driving you. Whereas the mood boosting benefits you feel right away. The strength gains you can see in a couple weeks in a lot of
Yeah,
cases.
for sure.
So that is way more motivating.
And even a big one too is like your posture.
Mm.
Or something that we probably take for
Like,
granted.
I need
Yeah,
to
right?
adjust my
But
posture
with
now.
shoulders, but the ability to do a flat back.
Mm.
When you do like a row at the gym, when you first started, you have to consciously think like,
Yeah.
oh, keep my back straight, as opposed to arching over. But now it's like that natural safety mechanism that you built into your routine.
Yeah, that you just learn from experience and time.
Yeah.
So the very last question I have for you is, what's the most important lesson that you've learned along your fitness journey?
The most important lesson I've learned for my fitness journey is the importance of the safety when it comes to wanting to work really hard and really fast to a big lift, or sort of just getting your workouts done to tick a box. You forget the form and technique that's so important.
Mm.
The worst thing that will set you back is an injury. And if you remember during my HYROX training, I my groin was sore. I had pulled something in my glute, which had then led to my knee. We were preparing for a race, so obviously the training couldn't scale back. But
Hmm.
there's a week I had to take a rest, and I came back feeling so much better.
Hmm.
And like, training through injuries is so dangerous.
And it's counterproductive.
Yes, 100%. So like, that's something I've taken a step back, is like, drop the ego lift sometimes, focus on your rest and recovery, like book the massage, do the physio, like eat properly. I think there's a point too, sometimes we were talking about weight loss before, is like you'll skip out on like nuts or avocados, like, oh my God, like they're high calorie, they're not good for you. But you need the well-balanced diet to fuel
Hmm.
yourself in the gym.
You need the healthy fats.
Yeah, and it's easy to get siloed in like one goal at a time, but like, your health and your wellness is the best outcomes that come from fitness. So
Hmm.
making sure that you're also taking care of yourself is really important.
I love that. That's such a valuable insight and a very, I think, unique lesson. I don't
Oh,
think a lot of people would say that safety and recovery is
I'd
the
hope
most important
so.
thing. So, yeah, I love that. And it is so true. You need to prioritize that. Otherwise, how are you supposed to even show up? You need to make sure that you're recovering appropriately so that way you can show up to your workouts and be your best and actually see improvement with time.
And we do it a lot too. We call it the steps and sauna day, where
Hmm.
it's like, hey, like, do you want to just go for an active rest at the gym? Like, I'm not feeling a workout today.
Hmm.
And we get our movement in, we'll hang out in the sauna. And like, it hits checks the boxes. We did what we had to do, but we're doing that maintenance and recovery to take care of ourselves.
Hmm. And you need it. You need to take rest days. You need to take active recovery days, and then you also need to take days where you're just not doing anything sometimes, if that's what your body is telling you that you need.
Oh, for sure. Cancel no rest day culture.
Yeah.
The grind does stop.
And there are days off. It's not a no days off mentality.
There are days off.
Yeah, days off are encouraged.
It's important. It's so good for us.
Well, thank you for sharing that lesson. I love that.
So glad.
Well, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast today. I hope if you're listening, you learned a lot from Joya's fitness journey. I know I did.
Thanks for having me. It got me thinking about a lot of things that are part of my routine, but didn't really realize it till I said it out loud. And it's cool. We've had quite a long fitness journey together, and like, our mindsets have shifted throughout. We've learned a lot from each other. So happy we got to talk about it.
We definitely have. And I feel like even from our conversation today, I've learned even more about your mindset and the strategies that you use. I didn't know about the pylon method. I didn't know about the star method. So I'm going to be incorporating those into my routine. And yeah, I would love to have you back on the podcast and we can do an even deeper dive into some of the topics we touched on today. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Has your fitness journey changed since the Boston Bruins fell off a cliff?
This is a really important question to me. I've taken in that feeling, that emotion, and driven it back into my workouts. I appreciate the Boston Bruins for looking into my schedule. I'm getting married this year, and I didn't have time to cheer for a championship. We'll be back stronger next year.